Welcome everybody. This is A Beer with Burley. My name is Brian Burley. Guest today is I call him Larry Ellison, but his real name is Patrick Ellison.
I wish I was Larry Ellison.
Yeah. This is the first one, so we were just working out some kinks. So hopefully everything's all good and well, and we don't have any issues. So the point of this podcast is to bring people on, and people that are local business owners, influential people locally as well, and to hear their story, hear what they're doing with their business, their passion projects. And it's also called A Beer with Burley. It's not a get hammered with Burley. It's not a get buzzed with Burley necessarily. Although this is a 32-ounce root beer for the first one. I just had to clear that up because some people in my family are like, "Is this get buzzed with Burley?" No, it's not get buzzed with Burley. So a little bit about the podcast. It's a part of my company, Burley Tech, which you can see right here, where our polo currently. And Patrick, I know I talked to you about this last year, about this idea that I had. We were actually sitting at Riip, and we've sat down a few times, and you've helped me with a few projects. So it's kind of crazy that it's now happening during this whole crisis where we're forced to stay.
What better time to do it? So, what better time to start?
Yeah. So we're going to bring people on. I've had a lot of interest of people even out of state now of doing it. So we can do it in this capacity, which means we can try beers technically from all across the country if we can get them here, or even if it's just, I guess we could try like name brands like Bud Light and Budweiser and Coors. Everything's got to get a review, right? I know everything's got to get a review. So they'll be on different scales. It's done in conjunction with my business, Burley Tech. We do IT consulting. I know I've been talking to you, Patrick, about some of the ideas that we have, and that we're going to be talking about here shortly about helping small businesses do some more video advertising. I think that'll be important after this whole pandemic has passed. I know we talked earlier about not saying the C word, so we're going to call it a crisis, or apparently those are being taken down off of YouTube. So, yeah, man, thank you for hopping on. It's kind of crazy that we talked about this a year ago. Oh, one other thing, this isn't necessarily a political podcast. I know that I've ran for office, and some people will be hopping on because of that, and there will surely be people here on the podcast that are political, but that's not the point of it. It's to help small businesses. It's to have a beer, relax, and talk about each other's passions and projects. So thank you for having me on, man. Like I was saying, it's crazy that we started this. We had this conversation a year ago.
Yeah, man. I mean, hey, everything takes time, and everything's all about timing. And I think with everything going on right now really is the perfect time to do this. And with technology that we have, everyone has their fingertips with their phones on their the cameras and everything. What better time, And I think it's great to talk with you. I know you're really involved with Huntington Beach, and I'm in Huntington Beach as well. So it's cool to be able to kind of spread our word and just see the local businesses. And hey, thanks for having me on too. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's no problem. I consider you a good friend. I think we've been at Riip probably a handful of times. I'm having a problem with this new Bluetooth, so sorry for everybody. Excuse me, keep on touching my ear. I'm working through that. Just bought these this week. There was one thing I wanted to ask you about. Oh, when we talked about the first idea of doing this, it was in a brewery.
Yep.
And to actually sit down in a brewery and have that atmosphere, and have the lighting like we have here and everything else. That didn't really work out, which I ended up being too busy. Political life, the congressional campaign, anyways. So that's why it didn't happen a year ago. But now this is like the perfect situation because I can, like I said, I can bring anyone on. We both picked up our takeout today. So yeah, I just wanted to introduce, what the podcast will be. Anybody who wants to be on the show, who wants to promote their business, you can go on my, our Facebook is just Beer with Burley, at Beer with Burley, or that's the like page. You can Facebook me personally on my profile or on Instagram, and also if you have any email suggestions for a beer, or if you just want to hop on the show, it's just brian@burleytech.com. I'll make sure to put it down at the bottom, and then anything for the guests, you guys can of course supply your information, and you do video editing, and I think the proper term is filmography. I don't know, maybe I just butchered that. Whatever, however you want it. We'll get to that in a second here after we review our first beer. But yeah, with that said, that is what a beer with Burley is. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. And yeah, so let's get started. We both picked up our first beer. It's Riip Beer Co. You can see it right here. This is called the Super Duper Cali. It's 9.5% alcohol. We got 32 ounces. The one thing I wanted to say before I know you're like dying to have.
I'm thirsty, man. I've been staring at this beer.
I didn't even hit the record button, and you were like clamoring for it.
Hey, man, I love good beer. It's hard to just watch it and not drink it.
I know. I was like, oh man, and these are good ones too. I like Riip. We were gonna do Super Cali, but they were out. But it's a 100-point scale, so we're gonna review it. It's not like Barstool Sports. If you've ever seen them, it's not like a one sip.
Right.
Everybody knows the rules, kind of thing. We can sip on it, but we have before we start on other topics, we got to give a score.
For sure.
From a first
Are you on
sip.
Untapped, by the way, Brian? Are you on Untapped, the app that you could check beers in?
I'm sorry. What do you mean? Am I on there? Or?
There's an app. There's an iPhone app where any phone app where you can actually. It's called Untapped, and you can rate and check in your beers. I do it all the time whenever I have new beers. It's great to kind of see what your friends like, and you can kind of read a little description about it because it's so hard to find a good beer these days. Well, let me rephrase that. It's so hard to tell what a good beer looks like and what a bad beer looks like because all the labels look cool now. So it's a really great software to kind of rate it, and then it's like Yelp but for your beer. So you can go back and say, I
haven't tried that. I think that'll be a good idea. What my plan is, since I own the Beer with Burley domain, is to put the score up. We'll put a score stamp up here as soon as we have one. I don't know what side I'm on of the camera, or actually both of our faces will be on the full screen.
It out.
So,
we'll figure it out in post.
Yeah, we can open up now. Hopefully I can actually get mine open. There we go. There we go. So this is the Super Duper Cali, 9.5%. And I already spilled.
I'm spilling a little on me too.
I already knew that was gonna happen.
No, these cans are not. They're not like regular cans. These are crowlers for anyone that doesn't know. So it's a 32 ounce. It's a 32 ounce can.
I totally butchered this.
But they fill them up at the brewery. So
you guys are gonna give me so much crap.
I was very careful. I was very careful to pour a nice pour, but
yeah, I'm in a weird setup here, and in front of my stuff. We'll have to talk about what's behind us here in a second.
We're not judging. It's beer.
Yeah. All right. Oh wait, before you get started, you have to say, "Hear ye, hear ye." My name is Brian Burley. There you go.
Hear ye, hearly. I'm here with Brian Burley.
There you go, man. There we go. Yeah, I guess that was it sounded better, right?
I don't know. It just came out. Oh man, that's tasty.
Yeah, it's good.
Always give it a second sip. Yeah, you can't judge off your first, especially if you had a beer that day. You really gotta.
I poured it like the way I did.
Dude, that's fucking tasty. Oops.
Oh, I'll make sure to hit the bleep button. I haven't decided yet. Are we gonna bleep ourselves?
It's
up to your discretion. Man, I got a lot on my table here.
Yeah.
Here in a second.
I'm just gonna.
This is good.
Yeah, it's super tasty. I mean, and you got to remember it's a 9.5%, so that's pretty strong.
You can't really tell.
No,
9.5.
It tastes. I mean, so smooth. They got a great hop. It's a little thicker, I'd say, than most IPAs. Great hop flavor, great hop aroma. It's a little thicker, I think, than some, and also it's pretty clear. A lot of people are into the hazy beers now, but this is nice West Coast.
The way I poured mine, it doesn't look clear.
Well, yeah, I mean it's got a little bit, a little bit of thickness through it, but overall it's pretty clear.
Are you ready to give it's a 100-point scale, so you can give it a point, whatever you feel like. This is the first part of every show is going to be a review, of course.
Well, now here's the question: are we doing like 100 points overall, or are we going to rate like the aroma? We're going to rate the taste. How do you want to?
No, we're not going that crazy. You're like going full like with your analysis. You should be like a beer enthusiast. I am not a beer expert. I should have actually probably clarified that. I think a beer with Burley just sounds like a cool, chill situation to interview somebody and have a conversation. Yeah, video. So no, it's just a 100-point scale. You know, if you were, you know, obviously you don't just give 10s out crazy, right?
Oh, no. I mean, out of 100, dude, that's a 90.
Well,
man.
It's 100. It's a 100-point scale, so you give like a 9.0 if you think.
Oh,
but that means that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So I'd say a 9 out of 10, right?
Yeah, a 9.0 out of 10.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be that high. I mean, I think it's good. I actually think Riip has some better beers on this one. I think
wow. We also got to mention
that we talked about.
Well, we try to get the Super Cali, which is their Great American Beer Fest winner. This is actually their Super Duper Cali, so this is their double version of that. So you might be more of a Super Cali fan. I think it's about 7% versus 9.5. I like the big hitters though.
I'll give it a 7.8. I think solid beer. I think 9's high for anything. I don't know. If I'm going to be doing this multiple people, I can't be giving 9s out. Especially the first one. This has to be like the standard. 7.8 is a good score.
I mean,
you're like,
I'm
all the Riip lovers are going to hate me for that. I wouldn't, on a scale where like the Coors is like a 1.5, this is like a 7.8. And
okay.
Like, I think there's a Riip beer that's a high 8.
That's okay. That's okay.
I do the flights normally when we're there.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our.
My only complaint, and it's the minorest complaint ever. It's got a little bit of bitterness at the end, but that's coming with all that alcohol. And the fact that you can't taste the booziness, that's, I think, what makes it so smooth. And for that level of beer, that's why I'm giving it such a high score.
Absolutely. So I gave it a 7.8, and you gave it a 9.0. So that is the Super Duper Cali over at Riip, corner of Warner and PCH. All right. Here's my boy. I thought I'd bring him on. I just woke him up from a nap, so he's probably.
What's his name?
This is Lightning. He is the one that I don't know if you saw the post about how he has diabetes.
Aw, poor dude.
A rough day, right? No, I woke you up. Come on, man.
I mean, the one good thing.
I woke you up from
the doggies love the quarantine because, like, my dog loves the fact that we're home all day, every day. So.
Yeah, he's a good boy. I'm gonna go let him go back to sleep here now. All right, I'm ready for second pour. If you're ready for second pour, I've got my my IT situation figured out over here as the IT guy.
I'm gonna pour myself a little bit more.
Cool. What do they call second pour, man? Let's see if I can do this right this time.
There we go.
I think this was much better. Still wasn't perfect. These are big, these 32 ounces. So the question that I was kind of teasing, you were talking about how you had helped people with filming. So what's the craziest request or the craziest thing you filmed?
What's the craziest request?
Or like, what was something that just made you go like, wow, I'm really recording this, or whether if it was cool or if you can talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. When it comes to production, every day is different. Some days are awesome, have a great time. Sometimes you work a couple hours, you make a bunch of money. Sometimes you work a whole entire day, you make less than that. So, you know, every project's different. You got to it's got to be your passion. And I really truly believe that. Like my dad told me when I was a kid, if what you do for work is fun, then it's not work. You know, if you enjoy doing what you do, then it's not really work. And that's how I feel about filming. Craziest, I don't know. I couldn't say I had that many crazy requests besides like super low budgets. But besides that, I'd say craziest event we did I actually live streamed the Super Bowl party in San Francisco for Maxim back in, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, whenever the Super Bowl was in.
For who?
Maxim, the magazine.
Oh, wow. You know, what was that party like? Did you get to partake in like the activities of it?
I was in a van off to about 300 feet. Oh, no more than 300 feet because the cables can only go 300 feet before you lose the quality. They were nice. They brought me in some Red Bulls. They brought me a few cocktails. They brought me food, but I was pretty much locked in that van until the very end of the night, where we were all popping champagne bottles, and it was a great time. But that was pretty crazy. There were NFL players there. There were celebrities. There were models, and it was in San Francisco, so you get the San Francisco crowd. So yeah, it was a pretty cool event. But I'd say the most incredible experience I've ever had filming was definitely the documentary I shot in the Arctic. It's actually on Amazon Prime.
Oh wow!
Right now, it's the Arctic Expedition. I didn't edit it, but the experience was insane. I got to go on this Canadian icebreaker for 3 months in 2008. We went 3 times. So we went in the winter, spring, and summer. So we got to see all the different seasons. And I mean, I got to go places that most human beings can never get to go to or even dream about going to. You can't even just, even if you're a billionaire, you can't just go there. You have to have a purpose. It's all part of the, it's kind of sanctuary and everything up there. So the most incredible shoot was definitely in the Arctic Ocean. It was minus 40 degrees Celsius. We saw the Aurora Borealis. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool, but it was a lot of work. And I mean, I was there for a month at a time, and you're on this ship. The internet was, in 2008, was pretty bad. There was no texting. You had 3 meals a day. There was a bar open 3 days a week that we'd go down to. There were vending machines, but it's weird when you get outside your comfort zone and you're not used to being in your own house. Like when you're on a schedule, you get a little weird, you get a little antsy, especially up there when it's dark 23 hours a day or it's light 23 hours a day. I got to experience both things, so it was really cool.
Yeah, and my dog is returned to my lap, so
he's a good boy. He's a good boy.
Yeah, he was snoring a second ago. Hopefully the mic didn't pick it up. So yeah, those are some crazy experiences.
I don't have it. I don't want to bore everyone, but yeah, next time we go to Riip, I can give you even more. But those are some of the highlights.
No crazy requests though. No one asking you to record. You're like, no, I won't do that. Can you think of anything like that?
I mean, I when I first moved out here, I was asked to do some filming that most people might not consider too legit, and I declined it.
I think I know.
I decided that wasn't the route I wanted to go into. And
how did they find you? Did they just look you up or what?
Once you create a network, you kind of like start reaching out to people like, hey, I do filming, and then you'll get this one weird guy, kind of like that. The other thing, I was when I first moved out here, I didn't know anyone, so I was on Craigslist all the time, and I remember clicking on one ad. It was like, oh, they need an editor, a video editor, blah blah blah. They pay a good amount of money. Okay, cool. They're like, yeah, so drive to this address in North Hollywood, California. There is a fence around the building. It's a brick wall with no labels. Knock 3 times and we'll let you in. And I'm like, huh, that's weird. And then I said it to my buddy. I said it to my buddy who had moved out here like 6 months earlier than me. He's like, yeah, dude, you know what that is? Yeah, I think we all know what it is, but so
you dropped the F-bomb, but you won't say the what
it was porn. It was porn editing.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it was for Vivid. It was for Vivid.
We gotta decide to blurb that out.
The funny thing is the first job, it was for Vivid, which I didn't even know was a porn company until I talked to my buddy. He will remain unnamed. But as soon as I said Vivid, he was like, "Oh, dude, that's porn," and I'm like, "Oh, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pass on this interview." No, I mean, I think it's just like, if I could say anything, it was great going to Riip today, Riip Brewing, which is the company that has our beer today. It was great to support them. It was great to see Skip, one of our favorite bartenders over there.
They knew your name when I went over there. I said, "You guys know Patrick Ellison, right?" And I'm like,
"Oh, he literally." I had a bandana. I had a bandana on. I had aviator sunglasses on, and like basketball shorts and a t-shirt. I walk up and Skip's like, "Patrick, I got your beer." I'm like, "How did you know it was me? I have a mask on." He goes, "I could just tell from your walk." I'm like, "Oh my god, I've been to Riip way too many times." But no, I think the best thing to do right now is support your local businesses, especially like food and stuff. everyone's giving out good deals. Go drive through somewhere, go pick something up, have something delivered on Grubhub or Uber Eats or whatever. I think the best thing we can do right now is just kind of help each other out. I know times are tough, and I think we're going to get through this. I don't think it's going to be next week, maybe not next month, but I think as long as we're strong.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. That brings up one of my topics, if you mind me jumping in here. And you're not in a hurry to get off, are you? You're still drinking, right? You're still sipping?
I mean, I still got beer. Now, if I run another beer, we might have an issue.
There's no talking after the beer's consumed.
I'm still good.
So what do you think? I mean, one of the the normal structure of these, this is the first one. I didn't say it in the opening, will be, everybody brings 2 topics to the table. And a beer review. That'll be the structure of a typical episode. But obviously, this is the first one, and me and you talked about just making it more casual. What do you think the limit is, though, to when people start saying, enough is enough, we need to open stuff up? I mean, there's already some people, as you've probably seen, protesting in Huntington Beach. Everybody has their own internal clock of, this is like when we have to open up. The way I see it, I'm fortunate to have a good job still. I work at USC, and I'm, working on my business as well. It took a little bit of a backseat during the campaign, but I kind of find it interesting to see what everyone's timeline is. I mean, me personally, I think the timeline, if people are waiting until July, or if we're still like this on July 4th and people aren't able to have fireworks, if they're not able to, I think in Huntington Beach we have a lot of freedom compared to the average city. I think we should start loosening the restrictions and let people social distance and sit down and eat at restaurants. I don't know the exact parameters of what that is. Are we going to order by text? Are we going to order, because handing a menu passes germs, but it's the same thing as takeout because people are ordering takeout and that bag is handed over. That food was touched in some way, shape, or form. That that container that holds the food. So I wondered what your opinion is. My opinion, and a lot of people don't, they think of that just get all constitutional, which I am very constitutional myself. But how dare you think July 4th? I mean, if we're still closed by July 4th, it's going to be a major, there's going to be major issues. I think that's when you have the vast majority of people that start to say, okay, we've been doing this for it'll have been April, May, June, July, 4 months. I think someone told me we've already been doing this 6 weeks. We're approaching 60 days here relatively quickly. What is your internal clock, or what do you think society's internal clock is?
Well,
or we have to get back to work.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel pretty good. I feel like I'm a good person to answer this question because I see it in 2 ways. I don't want this to spread anymore. I want to kick this as soon as possible because I know no one's. Okay, maybe a few people are enjoying this, but for the most part, everyone wants to get back to normal.
Hope not.
Well, yeah. However, I don't think I know even today, Daily Mail UK picked up Huntington Beach, TMZ picked up Huntington Beach this weekend because there were so many people at the beach. I think there is it's kind of a fine line between, hey, do we shut down the beach or do we let everyone go on? I think people need to be more respectful. And I'll be honest with you. I went to the grocery store the other day. I feel totally healthy, but I'm trying to be as careful as possible, and I want to be respectful for everyone too. And I'd say 90% of people had masks on, but there was this one lady in front of me at the grocery, and she's just like scoffing at me because I had a mask on. She didn't have a mask on. She's just touched everything, and I'm like, just be even if it's not for you.
I got an interesting story about this, but sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I have an interesting story.
No, it's
about
okay.
That.
But
you have a second.
Yeah, and I mean if you tell me right now you don't wear a mask on, I don't care. That's fine, whatever. It's the way I see it.
I mean, sorry. Is it okay if I jump in real quick?
Yeah, jump in.
I think so. I got a haircut yesterday. I don't know if you saw my Facebook feed. So I found a local business that was still giving haircuts.
Nice, that's cool.
And to me, I guess that's against what the orders say, and technically that makes me a bad person to some people. I had 4 or 5 people saw me.
Well, now you're admitting it on video, so you're doing yourself even worse. But yeah, go ahead.
It was already on video. There was a photo of it. I think these business owners, these people that this is their livelihood, and we've really robbed them of that. We robbed them of an alternative. And I think that time of starting to loosen those restrictions is now. I think we should protect the vulnerable. I went into Rolf's. I couldn't find a mask for the longest amount of time, and I'm not just going to stay in my house and like not go buy food or go buy groceries. I couldn't find a mask; they were sold out.
Yeah.
So that's not my fault. I went into Rolf's. I think it was probably Monday of this last week, and I just went in and bought food, and there was like maybe 3 or 4 people that didn't have masks. I didn't have a mask, and I got one dirty look, but most people were understanding of the situation, I would say, or like, oh, he doesn't have a mask. But apparently Ralph's has a sign outside the door that says, we can't serve you if you don't have a mask. And no one kicked me out, but I was going to ask, I guess this brings it to another topic that I kind of wrote down because, these are the things that are going on right now. I know these are kind of inherently politically drained, and maybe I'll get some crap because, like I said, I just got a haircut yesterday, and that's fine.
I'll go and defend you here on this one. I think it sucks for all those hairstylists that aren't making any money, and I think it's a situation where, hey, if a hairstylist,
I gave her a double tip, by the way. I paid for like a double haircut. Well, I think that's what we should do. In this situation, not that matters or justifies if it's technically against the rules. I don't know because they haven't educated us well enough to really know that. Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to put that out there.
No, and I think anyone that is ordering delivery or anyone that's ordering any service, tip them well. Like whatever you're gonna tip normally, double it. Whether it's your Uber Eats or whatever you do, because these people are risking their lives, and whether you want to say it's not real or it's not as bad as it is, people are dying. So it's like the sooner we can kick this, the sooner we get back to normal. So even if it's, I've heard, a bandana's not effective. Well, you're right. It's not a filtered mask like from Breaking Bad, but it's still going to stop stuff coming from out you and going into you. So it's like, hey, it's another barrier. It's another safety measure. So, you're right. It's not a aerosol trapped entrapment, but you're still helping prevent the spread of this. And I think that's what we got to do. I agree with you. I mean, like I told you, I'm hurting because we can't go out and film anything, but I also don't want to go out and film and then get, super sick or get someone maybe I have it and maybe I get someone sick. Or what if I'm filming with an older
Someone told me yesterday that the aspect of me going to a salon, if they also cut hair, they said that if they opened up, it could potentially, it could be viewed badly for them.
Yeah. Well, I think
give them a bad thought, but I don't agree with that necessarily, because if you're the only person open, you're saying, hey, we're being careful, we're doing we're allowing one person in at a time. But some people are just like, well, the government didn't tell you to do that. And I'm not trying to get political here, but like the government isn't your mommy. Like the government doesn't know what's best for you necessarily, right? Like,
yeah.
And the scientists don't know what's best because not every scientist knows what's best for every city. Newsom doesn't know, and all the people that are all around the state that are evaluating California, the needs of San Francisco and LA are different from the needs of Orange County, right? So I think, this is my opinion, and people can sound it in the comments or on the Facebook live stream. I think I think we're ready in Orange County and a lot of places, especially Huntington Beach. I could be wrong. If I see other data, I'm willing to hear it out. But I think we're ready to protect the vulnerable, have them stay indoors, and have people that are responsible, that are going to wear masks. Even if they want to go out to eat, and if there are 6, or if you want to even set a 10-foot barrier and set a capacity limit on every restaurant, and make people order from their phones, whatever way you want to do it, to make people feel like psychologically okay to go out again.
Yeah.
Some of these businesses are not going to come back. There's I don't know if you've been to Ohana's down the street here or Fish Camp. They're not open at all, and they might not come back if they don't open up in the next 3 weeks.
No,
a lot of businesses are in the same position. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I thought that was important.
No, no, dude, I totally agree, and I 100% support small local businesses, and that's why I said, if you can, we've been trying to, order out a couple times a week, give them tips and stuff. And I think it's more of a, everyone, here's the issue. And this, and not to get too political, but I think it's more so like, just everyone be respectful.
How dare you get political?
I know, right? I personally,
I'm actually always like this. So I mean, I think you can attest. Like, people are, they see me like I run for office. I don't really joke about politics on a video ad that you edit, but I'm normally like pretty casual about conversation. And
I mean, you can't really talk about everything going on right now without being political, because everyone's got an angle. And to be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care what side you're on. I think that you just got to be smart and be respectful. And if a store requires you to wear a mask. Get a bandana, put a scarf on. It doesn't matter. Okay, just do it. And I think if that makes people feel better.
And I got 3 of them now. Let me maybe be clear. I said earlier in the show that I didn't have any. Everybody, with even the hair salon, gave me a mask.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, I was wearing.
That was the only place where I was able to get a mask, was the person that cut my hair.
Yeah.
So for all those people that were, 4 people that threw a fit,
go buy a bandana. I mean, who doesn't have a freaking bandana?
Well, yeah, I had to go to LA for work, and I like, LA is super strict, so I had to like wrap a t-shirt, like an old t-shirt. That was like a muscle shirt cut out. I wrapped it around my face just to get into my work building.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, okay, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. It is. But is it that bad? Like, it could be a lot where, hey, we can still go out and do things. Could you imagine, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like, what if they shut down everything? Yeah, that's going to suck. But if we just continue to, do the social...
We're beyond that point, though. I mean, I think we're beyond the point of where you could shut everything down.
I agree. I'm saying...
What is... So rounding out this topic, I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah,
what is your limit? Or what do you think society's limit is? What is the date? Like, put a firm date. Like I said, July 4th. Like, if people are... I would even say July 1st, because you got to prep for July 4th. You got to get hot dogs. You got to, like, fireworks.
Here's the...
Like, if things are still closed on July 1st, there's going to be such an uproar. Not even like, politically, people are saying this is the left and right. The people on like the far right want to open it, whatever. Like, I've stood with people on the far right and on the far left. I don't mean like a radical view, but I mean like I participated in like rallies before. So, what is your limit? What do you think society's limit is? Like, put a date on it.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to say July 4th. I think July is a good guess, a good estimate. I think it depends.
And most people are going to think we're crazy, by the way. Bear in mind, like, most people are going to think we're absolutely July. Like, when people are thinking about, like, they're thinking that basketball might start by June, like middle of June, like NBA. Like, I don't know if you watch sports, but like...
Yeah, no,
anyway, sorry.
I'm a big...
So you're saying July.
I'm a big NFL guy. I love like I said, the Bears. So I already heard they're going to push the NFL season. I'm not an NBA guy, so I really don't care. I know what happened. I'm an NHL guy, so I mean, it kind of like my Blackhawks. But here's the thing: like, hey, if we gotta postpone the season or whatever, like, as long as if we have to deal with this every 50 years, something like this, that's fine. But let's not extend this whole show. I was gonna have an expletive before that, but I won't. Let's just.
Well, we gotta make a decision. Are we blurting out your first F-bomb?
I think
if we aren't, then you might as well just go back and say shit show, and now I gotta blurt me out.
I was trying to. It was hard for me at first, but I think you should bleep it out probably, just because it's. But
okay, so we're gonna have to bleep me out now too.
I have no problem cursing, but I know it is offensive to some people, and I apologize. But yeah, I mean, I think it's more like, you know what? It's like
Sorry, Grandma, we swore.
It's like, hey, okay, let's say you're going to college, and let's say it's Tuesday. You wake up, you got a cold. Okay, you don't feel good. Wednesday, you're feeling really bad. Thursday, you're starting to feel better. Friday, huge party. You want to go to this party. You're like, oh man, I'm still feeling a little sick, but I think I can push through.
Give me a date, Larry Ellison. Give me a date, though. I need to hear your date. What is society's end date, and what is your expiration date on the...
July 14th.
On the lockdown.
I'm going to go with July
14th?
July 14th.
You think society or yours? Is that society or is that yours? 'Cause your limit might be longer than society.
What I'm saying is, I'm thinking that stuff will reopen and less.
You actually think that's a reality. That's not what I'm asking. I'm asking, what is your limit, like, to where you're like, I gotta go back to work otherwise. Like, I don't care what the government says.
Oh, well, I mean,
what do you think society's limit is? I'm saying July 1st is that limit point.
Yeah.
That's going to upset some people. I talked to some people this weekend that said, like, no, we need to work May 1st. Bear in mind, I've been saying throughout this podcast that we have to be open. Like, we need to loosen the restrictions now. I don't know how you do that entirely. I'm not a scientist. I gave the point that if we're going to pick up food from a restaurant, we're already touching the food at some point. And what's the harm in, like, wearing a mask to the restaurant, sitting down, practicing social distancing in the restaurant?
Yeah, no,
I don't see the difference in that.
And here's the thing, and this is kind of what I said earlier. I don't.
I gotta hear your date. I gotta hear your dates, man. I gotta hear your dates.
When would I feel? I mean, dude, here's the thing. I'm not a scientist either. I'm just listening to what I hear on.
No, when would Patrick be out on the street saying, "I need to go film people"? Otherwise, I'm not gonna.
Like, where do I? When do I need to? I mean, dude, I've already lost. I've already lost a lot of income. You know.
But I'm saying, what is the date? Like, if you had to think of it right now, like, of a date, like, where you think society, people are gonna be like, "Oh, Brian, you're really hammering this home." But this is an important discussion to have. What is our limit? What is our limit? I told you what my limit was. July 1st.
I think July 14th. July 14th, halfway through July.
You're willing to stay at home during 4th of July?
To be honest with you, man, like, dude, I've done HB July 4th plenty of times, and dude, to be honest with you, like, I almost want to avoid that in Huntington Beach because it's so crazy. It's like I'd rather get everything going back again.
The Midwest 4th of Julys are, like, more chill, right?
But here's the thing. I think, like, if you're in the middle,
you go out on a boat in the middle of the lake.
Yeah, but right now, if we were on a lake in Michigan, in the dead center of the state, there's probably less contagions and less ability to get the.
Well, that's the issue in those states. They're having a lot of restrictions. They're apparently loosening them. Yeah, but so I guess we got to the point. I guess we got to the point that your limit is July 14th, which has. Did you say 14th?
Well, I said 14th.
Like, that date has no significance. If you watch
the movie Con Air, and Nick Cage's character reads a letter from his daughter, and she's gonna see her daddy on July 14th. So he goes, "I'm gonna see my daddy on July 14th."
That is the dumbest. I'm sorry, buddy, but that's the dumbest rationale.
Well, it was mid-July, but July 14th. Yeah,
makes sense. I know. Can you imagine? The protesters are already crazy.
I tried to film them last Friday. I went down there with a camera, but they were already gone. I was bummed. I wanted to film it.
I agree with them in a lot of ways. I'm saying, imagine not being able to celebrate Independence Day because
honestly,
there's going to be I think that's society's limit. Before you have, like, people just saying, like, screw it, I'm going out, I don't care what the government says. But you're July 14th, I'm July 1st.
But why can't...
I also gave it a 7.8, and you gave it a 9.
Why can't you celebrate 4th of July in your house with your awesome doggy without dealing with all those fireworks with a nice beer? Like, I gotta get out there.
How are you doing on your beer, buddy?
I'm good. I got a little bit left. I got a little bit left in the can, though. So, do you have any more left in the can?
I do. So I was just saying, should we start a last pour?
I'm doing it right now.
Topic idea. Okay. I think I'm on my last pour as well. This will be the last topic. Hopefully this doesn't fill up the whole thing.
I think it's a good timer, though. Like, the beer kind of times you, so it's like...
Dude, I just handled that like a champ.
Hey, prost.
Compared to that first one. Cheers. Hear you. My name is Brian Burley.
There we go.
Anyways, let me get to the last topic with that. I didn't mean to. I thought we might as well talk about what's behind us because people might wonder. I wondered if you had any suggestions on things to do during this whole outbreak. I can tell you a couple of things that I've been doing. I watched The Last Dance on ESPN, which is like the last
Jordan,
Michael Jordan, which I highly suggest. and talking about documentaries. That's probably been one of the better ones I've seen. There's 2 episodes that aired tonight that I haven't had a chance to watch because we're filming this right now. And I'll probably watch it after this. And then the other thing that I've been watching, well, there's a few things. I've been watching Parks and Rec.
There's a new episode on Thursday. You heard, right? This Thursday.
Yeah, I can't do it though. It just seems like a poor show. I got through like halfway through season 3, and it's not The Office, and I'm the biggest Office fan. I've watched The Office probably like every season 20 times. So I can't do it. The best show on TV right now, in my opinion, is.
Oh my God, we can't even talk because this will take an hour. But I agree with you. The finale was incredible, but I don't want to say anything because it's going to spoil it.
Well, I actually was a little disappointed by the finale.
Really?
I think season 9 should have been. Episode 9 should have been.
I think it's all build up for season 6. So there's one more season for Better Call Saul. And that's it. They're ending it because Breaking Bad only had 6 seasons, so Better Call Saul is gonna have 6 seasons.
No, I had 5. No, the Breaking Bad had 5 seasons. I think
it was like a weird half season. Like you're right, it was 5, but it was like they broke it up.
They were longer seasons. They were like
there was a half season
compared to Breaking or Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
like
there were half seasons of Breaking Bad. It was really that's a whole other story. But yeah, they did like the first 6 episodes of season 5, and then they waited a year and they did the second half so they could win like more awards. But it's still technically season 5. You're right. But yeah, I think Better Call Saul is amazing. What I was gonna say was, you know, if I can give a recommendation to anyone to do some stuff while we're in quarantine, what I've been doing is we actually did we did a Zoom call with my parents and my sister who's in Chicago. So my parents are in Phoenix, my sister and her boyfriend are in Chicago, and we did like a game night. So we logged into Zoom. We had, on my end, we had 2 computers. We had one for the call, and then we had one to share screen, and we actually had categories up. We had a trivia game, and it was super fun. And it was great because my parents loved it, and they didn't have to do anything besides sign into Zoom, which is really easy. And we took care of everything else. And I think it's cool to like connect with your family, with your friends. And I did another one on Friday night with some college friends. So I think it's just now's the time to reach out to all those people that you haven't talked to in a while and just check in on them, you know, or, you know, play a game with them. Absolutely. I've been doing some online poker too with my old friends from Indiana, and it's great. Like we played last night. We're all on FaceTime on audio, and we're just talking it up, just like we were in high school again, but we're playing poker at the same time. So I think this whole situation kind of sucks a little bit, but I think it's also teaching us to reach out and talk to other people that we probably wouldn't have if this hadn't come up. You know what I mean? And it's making us kind of like have fun without having to go out, having to go to the bars, having to go out to the theaters and stuff. And yeah, I mean, make the most of it. Don't be negative, be positive, because if you're a negative person,
don't worry, be happy.
Seriously, like and look, dude, trust me, I get in some situations where I'm not happy, but it's like, there's no good coming out of you being pissed off or you doing something stupid. It's like, just take a deep breath. Don't worry. Be happy.
Well, it was great to have you on, buddy. You know, you're doing some great things. We'll make sure to spread the word, and thank you for everybody for watching. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube and Facebook. And,
thanks for having me, man.
For your time.